Indeed, it's a new day. Danny Goki, the song New Day bring us to exactly 24 minutes to the top of the hour. Asante sana for joining us right here on Praise Junction. We're actually live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Yes, and of course, this is the Praise Junction devotion. Today's devotion is entitled Losing Sight of Our Purpose. Losing sight of our purpose. And I'm going to read from Exodus 19 and 5. I'm going to start there at 4. It says, "You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, therefore, if you will in fact obey my voice and keep my covenant agreement, then you shall be my own special possession and treasure from among all the peoples of the world. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, set apart for my purpose. These are the words that you shall speak to the Israelites." This is God speaking to Moses there. And you can see there's something that is coming out very clearly, that there is a reason why God delivers people. He delivers us so that we can be a special people to him, set apart for his purpose. And when we read, when we think of the Israelites, we often wonder what kind of people they were. They weren't chosen for anything that they had done. They were chosen because God loved them. In spite of all the mistakes they had made, they had been called as an agent of salvation. Yani God had set them apart so that other nations would see them, and they would in turn influence other nations to live a life that is pleasing to God, to be a channel of blessing. You can check this out in Genesis 12, 2 and 3. The Bible says how God told Abraham that he was to be a channel of blessing. The purpose of the Israelites was to become a holy nation that would eventually influence the rest of the world for God's glory. Yeah, and we know the conquest of Canaan and what it means to achieve this great purpose. But Israel, they became so absorbed in the conquest of Canaan that they forgot the purpose for which God delivered them. And many of us, we could be rolling our eyes and saying, they didn't know how fortunate they are. But so are we sometimes. We don't know how fortunate we are. We make the same mistake. God gives you a particular opportunity and you go there and you forget why God sent you there. Yeah, we are supposed to be ambassadors for the kingdom. We've been sent there for God's purpose first. And remember what we learned about being soldiers of Christ. We are not here to push our own agenda. We are here to push the agenda of the kingdom. And so it's important for us to keep remembering that we have a purpose. Child of God, the purpose for which you were created. And purpose can be defined the reason for which a thing was created or a reason why something exists. The reason why we were delivered is so that we could represent God. Not our own interests, but we could represent God. And I can give an example like in church. Sometimes we lose focus. Yeah, we are busy building. I'm not saying building is bad, yeah, but we're busy building very many beautiful buildings and we forget that we have been sent there so that we can call souls for the kingdom because God is passionate about souls. Now, I'm going to share with us 3 truths to remember. The first one, according to Esther 4:13 and 14, the Bible says, Mordecai sent back a word. "Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." God is telling Esther through Mordecai, there's a reason why you're queen. Don't enjoy the palace and all the royal delicacies and forget you were sent there for a purpose. The second thing is that we can find this in 1 Peter 2:9. I'm going to read. It says, "But you are a chosen race, royal priesthood, a consecrated nation, a special people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellencies, the wonderful deeds and virtues and perfections of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." And if you read the whole chapter, 10 tells us the reason why the Israelites were chosen, so that you can tell. It says, so that you may proclaim. We, brothers and sisters, we've been brought out of darkness so that we can proclaim God's greatness, his sovereignty, his might. And the third one comes from 1 Chronicles 17:21-22. God delivered his people to make a name for himself. Brothers and sisters, it's all about God. And I know sometimes the flesh gets in the way, and you get to a place and you think, oh, I know we are talking about property today. We want to get to property here and here. But let's remember, even in all our getting, even in all these things, that we are here for a purpose. So it's up to us to remember and constantly remind ourselves, for what purpose has God placed me here? The greater picture is so that his name may be glorified. But what is the purpose for you as an individual right there? And I think that's a conversation that you and God can have. We cannot have that for you. And my prayer is that you and I, we will not lose sight of our purpose. We go for a short break. When we come back, we're going to be wrapping up this hour. Remember, in just a short while, the segment Property Talk coming up with Nancy. Watch out for that.
FM, broadcasting on 93.3 Nairobi, 93.9 Western Kenya, and 101.9